People are fearful of buying a house or making a move right now because of higher interest rates today. Hi, I'm Deborah Morton with Clario Real Estate, and I'm here today with Cale Orge.
Forge nailed it.
Orge with Supreme Lending, a local mortgage company who specializes in residential mortgages and high-level customer service. I asked Cale to speak to us today because how he's helping our clients buy houses with terms that they can live with. And the result, spoiler alert, the result is that you can buy a home now. So Cale, thanks for joining us today. And I'm really excited to share with people what you're doing to help relieve the stress of, do I wait to buy because rates might come down, prices might go up? There's a lot of uncertainty in people's minds right now that knowing what products you have available today, that's what I'm really excited to present to people.
Yeah. Well, first, thanks for having me on here. Always a pleasure to speak with you. You always have great videos and great content. So I'm happy to share some really cool ideas with folks. And like you said, just create a little bit more of that comfortable feeling that they're making a good decision. At the end of the day, when I talk to clients, it really turns into really a consultation. Give them good information so they feel like they can move forward.
That's why we work well together, because we don't want to push anybody anywhere they don't want to be. But if moving and owning a home is in your future and you want to build your net worth over time, getting the information now is the way to go about it. So this information and these recordings will be available not just in our social media now and today, but they will live in our blog and on our YouTube channel as well, so people can revisit it in the future. So.
Perfect.
Tell us what you're doing. I have a client, they want to buy a house and they're watching our prices of houses going up, but more importantly, should they wait because they think mortgage rates might come down in the next few months, but we don't know.
Yeah, and I certainly sympathize with people, right? When you want to buy a home, that's a massive decision. For most of it, it's the most expensive thing we'll ever buy in our lives. And when is the time right? I would say that the rate is never really the reason to buy or not to buy. It's really when you talk about budget, and if you have a family budget of what your price point is, then it's always a great time to buy. And especially in Atlanta, there was a recent article for this year that Atlanta will lead the nation in housing, which I think is awesome. But then the biggest issue, and this really started around June of last year, is affordability. With people seeing the last couple of years, COVID made rates go to historic lows. And then you woke up one day and all of a sudden rates were at historic highs, right? And the largest rate increase in the shortest period of time that we've ever had in our industry. And affordability became an issue. So I certainly understand when folks are listening to the news and not quite sure, should I buy now? Should I wait? The reality is it's created a pretty cool market for buyers at this point, right? And you know this better than I do. Gone are the days where you have to offer $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over list price.
Right.
I read an article, the fourth quarter last year, 43% of real estate contracts had a seller concession. So sellers are giving back now to sellers. So you're getting better terms.
Right.
That's
I know that I can speak to that for sure. We are now back in a more balanced, it's still technically on paper a seller's market. However, we are in a position where many of our buyers were able to get concessions, whether it's a contribution to closing costs or some sort of negotiation. You know, a year ago, it was basically, here, take my first child and a pint of blood and I'll, maybe I can get the house. That's not
right.
the case anymore. And we are seeing some stabilization in pricing on the houses. We're not seeing huge drops in housing prices because of demand. Supply and demand are keeping housing prices stable. But affordability is what my buyers are concerned about. And that's what I want to share today about how the difference in an interest rate and what you can do with a buy down or a refi in the future, how that can help somebody get into the home they love.
It's a great conversation. And we could even use a live example because you and I currently have a woman under contract who has like the greatest deal on paper I've seen in a long time. So you mentioned a buy down. This is a program that existed a long time ago. When I say a long time ago, before the crash in 2008, with what I mentioned, how quickly rates jumped up, the government, they realized that you can't stall the housing market because that's over a third of our economy, right? So the way to kind of keep it going and to incentivize people to buy was to bring back the buy down program. What it is it's a very unique way, and it's got different terms. It could be 3-2-1, 2-1, or 1-0. And all that really means is that for up to 3 years of the first 30 years of the mortgage, right, you've got the ability to have a lower rate, and it's temporary. So let's say the rate right now is 6.5 and you have a 2-1 buy down. What that means is my rate is locked in at 6.5, but year one, my mortgage payment is reflected of a rate that is actually 4.5. So it's 2-1 buy down, right? It's 2% lower than the locked in rate. On year two, my rate will adjust to 1% lower than the locked in rate, which is 6, which would be 5.5. And then year three, that rate would fully mature to the 6.5, and it never changes ever again. If you don't mind, Deborah, let me share my screen real quick and let me give people a visual of what I'm talking about, because this is actually,
I think it's going to be super helpful for people to see what you can do.
Yeah, so this is actually the example I just used, right? So if you look at the purchase price, 400,000, the loan amount, so 10% down, your loan amount would be 360,000. This is really the area I want to focus on, the 2-1 buy down. And these are just numbers. This works for FHA if you do 3.5% down. It works for VA if there's 0% down. Basically, as long as it's a primary home or a second home, you can utilize this. So just in this scenario, year one, the rate again is 4.5%. That would save you $451 every single month. That's like a car payment. That's pretty awesome, right? And then year two, the rate would then go up 1% more to 5.5. That would save you $231 on the mortgage. And then year three, that rate would then fully mature to the locked in rate now, right? Currently is 6.5. The biggest question that I get from people is, well, can I still refinance if rates were to drop? And the answer is unequivocally, absolutely you can, right? Here's what's important to realize, and this is why the seller concession is so important, because this would be the cost in this scenario. It's $8,193. That has to be paid by the seller, right? So that's where you've got to get a really good realtor who understands negotiations, can get that for you, like the Clario Group, right? Be able to get these things. Now, if you want to refinance in year two, you can. Right. And what about the money that got paid? Whatever is left over in this balance here gets applied to the principal payoff. Right. So we call this, really, we've dubbed it a two-step program when you work with Supreme Lending, because one is affordability. This is a program we can use seller pay closing costs to get you in at a lower payment for the first 2 years. You basically have a 2-year protection, if you will, to have a lower payment. The odds of you ever making a payment at 6.5% are very, very slim. And why I say that is because this is the projection of Fannie Mae for rates in 2023, that rates will be back into the 5s. So anyone who purchased in June of 2022 when rates first went in the 6s, all the way to November when rates got almost 8%, when this drops in the 5s, you're going to want to refinance, right? And you talked about before, how do you purchase now and feel comfortable? This is your safety net, because rates are going to do 3 things. They're going to go down, they're going to stay the same, or they're going to go up, right? We know that. So
that's brilliant, Cale.
I came up with that all on my own, right? So if they go down, you can come back to your loan officer like Cale at Supreme Lending, and we'll do a refinance for you with no lender fees whatsoever. So on average, that saves you $2,000 right away.
Wait a minute. Could you repeat that?
Oh, absolutely. Say it louder for the people in the back. If you come back to us, which we hope you do, and a lot of clients do, we'll do a refinance for you. We'll get you into better terms, and we're not going to charge any fees. 0 lender fees. Now, Georgia's an attorney state, so you still have the attorney fees, you still have the taxes, but you will not have any lender fees, right?
That is a huge peace of mind, weight off of people's minds, that not knowing what's coming. None of us have a crystal ball. We cannot predict what's happening in the future. We can look at what the experts predict to happen, but those experts also led us to where we were the last couple of years. So this is
Yeah.
a huge peace of mind for somebody. So what we're talking about is somebody today could possibly get into a home, even if it's at 6%.
Yeah.
It's doable. We use the buy down, get them to a lower monthly payment, which again is the peace of mind for somebody who's buying a house and has to worry about furniture and cars and travel, and
Exactly.
normal life happens. But when rates do come down, they can refi for free.
Refi for free. Yeah. And no one has a crystal ball, but the odds are very good that the rates come down, because rates went low for a reason. It was COVID, right? Rates are high for a reason. It's not normal circumstances to why rates went to 7%, almost 8%. So the reality is rates are going to come back down. It's just when, right? So if you have a 2-1 buy down, you can kind of sleep easier knowing that for 2 years, I'm going to save some real money on my mortgage. And I've got that ace in the hole. Whenever rates drop, I call my lender at Supreme. I get refinanced, no fees. It's awesome. What a deal.
It is a good deal. So now that puts the burden back on us, because we still have historically low inventory rates. So now we have reassured people that you can buy financially. It does make sense. Now our goal is to find the home that they love. That's the important part. And I think the takeaway here is, hopefully our listeners and our viewers today understand that your realtor partner has to be an expert in the housing department. We have to be able to find and negotiate the best terms we can on your behalf for the home you love. But having the lender partner working lockstep, it's the three of us, the consumer, the realtor, and the lender working together makes a perfect triangle of a team that gets the consumers what they want. It's our goal to help people find the homes where they can write their family story and live their future and grow their investment, their net worth overall. There's nothing better than home. You have a bunch of kids, you know how important home is.
Yeah.
and we all want to rest easy knowing that we can afford, to live and work and play and just live life. So thank you so much for joining us today and sharing this information. How do our viewers reach you, Cale?
Always call me by myself, and I don't have an office line, right? So this, I don't know if you can see it in my green screen. There we go. This is my 11th finger. My 5-year-old says it's going to hurt my brain, and he's probably correct, but you can call me anytime. And that number is 678-477-8784.
Awesome. And we'll include your contact information with the blog posts and the information. So, and of course, viewers, reach out anytime. I will connect you. We're on speed dial with one another to make sure we can get our clients the best deals possible. Thank you, Cale. And I look forward to getting our current one under contract closed quickly and smoothly. And we'll be doing more of these broadcasts in the future as things progress. So have a great day.
You too. We'll see you.